The Infinity Stones are some of, if not the most powerful things in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Today, we'll be putting them all into D&D, along with the Infinity Gauntlet from Infinity War and Endgame. So, up first is the Time Stone, first seen in Doctor Strange. This artifact contains 50 charges that can be used in a variety of ways on a variety of abilities. The stone regains 2d4 plus 2 charges each day at dawn. First off, you can use an action to expend 1 charge to move an object's status forward or backwards through time 1 hour. Just think of the apple from the first Doctor Strange film. In the same vein, you can use your action to move a willing creature's status forward or backward through time 1 round. Now we have probably what is the most famous use of the Time Stone, looking into the future. Using an action, you can expend 5 charges to suggest a course of action for the next day and see what the consequences of those actions would be. We now move on to the more powerful abilities of the Time Stone.
Dormammu, I've come to bargain.
For 20 charges, you can use an action to set up a time loop that lasts for 1 minute. During this time loop, only the creatures that you interact with will be aware of the looping time. At the end of the loop, everything will return to the start of the loop and how it was then, and any creature aware of the looping time will remember the previous loops. This loop lasts for an hour or until you decide to stop it. Finally, for 20 charges again, you can take a minute to reverse the death of a creature who has died within the last hour. This will return that creature to the state that it was at just before it dropped to 0 HP. As with all the Infinity Stones, the Time Stone requires attunement, and in order to attune to this, you will require an intelligence score of 20 or higher. Next, we have the Power Stone, which was first seen in the Guardians of the Galaxy. This stone is also an artifact, but does not contain charges. Instead, this stone gives you the following passive abilities. Firstly, any creature using this stone can use their action to increase their strength and constitution scores to 30 for a minute. During this time, your unarmed attacks deal 1d8 plus 10 bludgeoning damage, and your HP will increase by the relevant amount for the increase of constitution to 30. You can do this a number of times equal to your con mod before it was impacted by the stone. You can also use this stone to make ranged attacks, letting out blasts from the stone that can reach up to 60 foot. These attacks use your strength score to hit and deal 2d12 lightning damage on a hit. Now, the attunement requirements. The first thing you need to know is you'll need a constitution score of at least 21 to attune to this stone on your own. You also have 2 methods for utilising the stone itself. The first one is you can create a vessel to house the stone. This will allow you to use its powers without damaging yourself. The other choice is to hold the stone yourself, which will mean you will need to succeed on a DC 25 Constitution saving throw or take 40 D4 damage. This damage will repeat on each saving throw. You must succeed the saving throw though, in order to keep hold of the stone and use it. If you are in contact with another creature while attempting to hold the stone by yourself, you may both roll Constitution saving throws, and then the 2 rolls must have an average higher than 24. If multiple creatures are in contact doing this saving throw, then the average number required drops by 1 for each creature involved. Next up, we have the Mind Stone, which was first seen used by Loki in the Avengers. This artifact contains 20 charges, which recharge at a rate of 1d4 plus 2 each dawn. These charges can be used to cast the following spells with a DC of 26. For 1 charge, you can use Dominate Beast, for 3 charges you can use Dominate Person, and for 5 charges you can cast Dominate Creature. It also has the following passive abilities which do not take any charges. The first of these is the ability to manifest beams of energy to make ranged attacks. These attacks use your int score and have a range of 60 foot. On a hit, they deal 4d8 lightning damage. Next, you are able to freely communicate telepathically with any creature you see. This is, unless that creature is being affected by a mind blank spell or a similar spell or magic effect. The third ability the Mind Stone gives you is the ability to give a creature disadvantage on a saving throw against being frightened by you or your allies. This ability can be used a number of times equal to your intelligence modifier, a minimum of 1. Finally, The Mind Stone gives you advantage on wisdom and intelligence saving throws, as well as resistance to all psychic damage. In order to attune to the Mind Stone, you require an intelligence score of 20 or higher. The fourth stone we will be looking at is the Soul Stone, first seen in Infinity War. This stone is probably one of the scariest to come up against and has 3 main abilities. The first of these abilities is to manipulate someone's essence. Using this stone, you can change the alignment of one creature that you can see. If that creature is unwilling, then they must beat a DC 26 Wisdom saving throw to avoid the effects. If they succeed, you take 5d8 psychic damage and the change fails. If they fail, their alignment changes to the new alignment chosen, and the ability will recharge in the stone after 7 dawns. The second ability of the Soul Stone is the ability to cast Speak with Dead on any creature who has passed on, regardless of whether or not you have a part of that body in your possession. You can choose one creature who has died, and you can speak to them as per the spell Speak with Dead. This ability will recharge each day at dawn. Finally, you can use the Soul Stone as the material component for the spell Soul Cage. With this stone as the cage, the spell lasts until you end it, and it can be used on multiple creatures at the same time. The number of creatures able to be contained in the gem is equal to 5 plus the wisdom modifier of the creature attuned to the stone. Finally, the attunement requirement for this stone is you must have a wisdom score of 20 or higher. Number 5 is the Space Stone, first seen in Captain America: The First Avenger. This artifact is mostly used to teleport, but it does contain a lot of energy that can be harnessed in other ways. The first ability that this stone gives you is the ability to cast Teleport and Plane Shift on yourself at will, with Teleport being as if you had an object from that place. You can also use the Space Stone to mend any magic item or to make exact replicas of any magic item. In order to make an exact replica of a magic item, you'll need to roll an intelligence saving throw and beat the DC relating to the rarity of the object. This is 10 for common, and this goes up in 5s until you reach 30 for legendary items. This ability cannot be used on artifacts. Another ability the Space Stone grants you is the ability to contract space around a creature within 30 foot of you. They will need to make a DC 30 dexterity saving throw or be restrained in place. And the final ability that you get when attuned to the Space Stone is the ability to manipulate matter around you. You can pick up and move non-sentient objects within 120 foot of you. If you make this object hit a creature, you can deal bludgeoning damage to that creature. The amount depends on the size, and you can be seen in this table below. In order to attune to the Space Stone, you must have a wisdom score of 20 or higher. The final stone of the 6 is the Reality Stone, seen for the first time in Thor: The Dark World. This is the only stone of the 6 to not originally be in solid form, instead in the Aether form. This artifact gives you the following abilities. Firstly, you can cast Reality Break and Tether Essence at will with a DC of 26. Secondly, you can make copies of sentient beings along with all their memories and personalities. This does require a concentration, and the created creature will disappear after an hour or when you drop concentration. You can also use the Reality Stone to mend a sentient creature, giving them back any lost body parts or curing any lingering injuries. Finally, you are able to adjust or affect a creature's viewing of reality. This means that you can create an illusion around a creature to change how they perceive their surroundings. If the creature wants to break out of the illusion, they must make a DC 26 perception check. If you are wanting to attune to this stone, then you must have a constitution of at least 22. If you are a good aligned creature, though, you must also beat a DC 28 constitution saving throw, or have the Reality Stone take control of your body. If that happens, you fall unconscious, and the stone must be removed from your person by a wish spell within the next 100 hours. If this doesn't happen, you will die, and your soul will be destroyed. Finally, we'll look at the Infinity Gauntlet from Infinity War and Endgame. This legendary item, or similar, is the only known method for using all the stones at the same time. Using this item, you can attune to multiple stones using one attunement slot, as long as you meet the requirements for each of the stones you wish to attune to. This item can be used as a vessel for the Power Stone and negates the impact of a good aligned creature attuning to the Reality Stone. This item also gives you the following benefits depending on which stones you have connected to the gauntlet. If you have the Space Stone connected, all ranges for the other stone's effects become unlimited. If you have the Time Stone, you can adjust the duration of the effects of the other stones. If you have the Power Stone, you can double any damage dealt by the other stones. If you have the Mind Stone, you can increase the DC of any saving throw forced by the other stones to 30. If you have the Reality Stone, you can impose disadvantage on any saving throw the other stones cause. And finally, if you have the Soul Stone, you may choose to affect multiple creatures by the effects of the other stones. The final ability of the Infinity Gauntlet is being able to use all the stones together. If you have all the stones, then you can make a DC 28 saving throw in every skill to attempt to activate all of them at once. If you succeed, you gain control of the entirety of existence for one action. During this time, you can make any change that you would like. Once that action is over, you take 300 d4 damage, which cannot be avoided, negated, or resisted. If you fail any of the saving throws above, you take the damage without being able to take the action in control. If you die by this 300 d4 damage, then your soul is destroyed. Thank you all very much for watching. I realise some of the abilities are not heavily featured in the films, so I have embellished a little using information I've gathered from the comics. Let me know if you have any other ideas, anything you disagree with, but I do hope you've enjoyed, and I hope you can let me know what you want to see going forward. Any other ideas, any other items that you'd like me to create for D&D. Thank you very much.